And perfect. All right, so I am going to share my screen and we're going to start talking about scaling your agency. So making it larger. Let's see where oh, there's Nathan. Cool. Hey, Nathan. All right, let's do this. All right, can everybody see that? Just if you can't
Yep.
say it, okay, good deal. All right, so we are going to hit present, present, and there we go. All right, so scaling your agency, and when we what happened here? Come on, there we go. When we talk about scaling, we're not just talking about um, getting more agents and doing more that way. It can be as something as simple as doing more than you're currently doing. It can be just getting started. All of these, it's all relative to you. So um, it's not always just about selling more policies. For some people, they want to put into place certain systems, whether it's a CRM, your clientele management system, that type of thing, um, or a larger network that you're marketing to. But the goal is you don't want to break what already has been working for you. So um, tonight we got three goals, and really this is going to be a little bit different for each of you, because each of you are in a very different spot, and that's perfect. That's okay. We all have different limiting factors, and we all want different things out of what we're doing. So our first goal is to identify what works within your current agency, um, to use that as a foundation. Uh, Anthony, you're just getting started, so we don't know what works for you yet, and that's okay. Um, but for Nathan and for Brenda, you have different things that you do. You're in very different areas. So just identify what works for you so far. Goal number two is describe and identify potential areas of growth. Again, being in a different location, being in different um, points of selling, that's gonna change your goal. Number two, and number three, identify those potential growth issues. And I'll go through all of these with you for myself. What works within the agency, I think coming from that teaching background, I knew that right away speaking to people was not going to be an issue for me. I was a public speaker for 11 years, just a little differently, calculus and 18-year-olds. Um, so I knew that worked for me. And then we'll get into goal two and goal three. All right. So, how do you level up if you're thinking about, hey, I want to get bigger, I want to recruit, I want to have an actual agency instead of being just myself? You start as an agent. Everyone in this business, well, I shouldn't say everyone, there's a handful who don't, but the overwhelming majority of people start as just a basic agent selling. Totally fine. There's a lot of people who never go beyond that because they don't strive to go beyond that, and that's totally fine. Jason Bell, for those of you who know him, I don't think he has a goal to be a manager or anything larger. But what he does extremely well. If that's all you want, fantastic. That's okay. I can support that. If you want to go bigger, I can support that too. So at minimum, to move up to a GA or general agent, at minimum, you need 5 agents in your downline that you recruit. And then as a group, those five and you need to write at least 200 to 250 apps a year. To move up from a general agent to an MGA, managing general agent, you would need 25 agents and at least 500 apps per year. To moving from an MGA up, Some will include, some FMOs will include kind of a transitional step. They call it an SGA, oh gosh, what is it? Superior general agent. I forget what the S stands for. But basically, what you need to know is moving from an MGA into an FMO, you got to have at least 100 agents and 1,000 apps a year. Um, for those of you that get the TLC emails and you see like, oh gosh, Justin White down in Houston, Texas. They're doing 400 to 500 apps a month, but he's also got 350, 400 agents. If you see Amanda Bruton, she's got 170, 180 agents, and they're doing 250 a month. And then Yost, uh, well, Yost is in a little different category. He's also an FMO, and they never put the Erie sales in with him. But if you added the Erie sales, because he brokered the deal between Erie and TLC, if you added Erie, they would be beating pretty much everyone. So, and then moving from an FMO to an NMA, which is actually where TLC is at now. There's only like, gosh, I think there's less than 3 dozen, maybe like 30 NMAs, National Marketing Alliance. You just got to be huge. There's really no set number at that point. So that's where TLC is at. So why do you want to get larger? A lot of people say, hey, you know what? We can help more people. I can make more money. You want to create more money long term for children, or create that legacy kind of money. And get out of selling. Honestly, I know a couple of managers that they just hated selling, but they liked managing. So I would say that I'm more of the first three. I enjoy selling, so I don't really plan to get out of selling, but I do enjoy managing. And for me, it was kind of financial stability to begin with, and then it's evolved into, let's create that legacy kind of money, for the kids. Maybe it's not multi-millionaire, and that's okay, but if we can leave the kids better off than my parents left me, that's great. That's the goal, kind of thing. So figure out where you're at. Everyone's going to be a little bit different there. All right, so first steps. Again, you got to identify what you do well. Define your niche audience. The Landises of anybody, in my opinion, has probably really nailed down the Landises and Dave Lehman. I think have nailed down their specific niche audience better than anyone. The Landises know that they are Lancaster through and through. So that's what they do. Dave Lehman, he's a veteran. He only pretty much goes after vets. So expanding on that clientele and building those strong relationships with carriers. I will say that talking to your broker reps, that's huge. I went out with Bob for coffee the other day. Bob Miller from Devoted. I'm going out next week for lunch with Tom Garrick from Metagold. So, it seems like it's a little thing, but I talked to Tony from Medical Mutual yesterday up at the Yoast event, and he said this exact thing. He said, it's for Med Mutual, they love working with TLC people, specifically Yoast people. Tony's up in he's Rachel up in the Youngstown area. But Tony said, we like working with TLC and Yoast people because we know what we're going to get, and we know they treat their clients right. We know that they treat us right. So we're going to give you guys stuff. We're going to give you, if there's co-op that can be given, or events, or just help. That goes a long way. And then create proactive retention systems. All right. Just stay in contact with your people. Building scalable lead generation. This is the hardest. I think it's always a struggle for me, because of the way things are right now. And I would venture a guess and say, for a lot of agents, this is definitely always hard is finding that lead generation. So digital marketing, this is something I definitely need to get better on. The Facebook stuff that I don't do TikTok or anything like that, but Facebook. Read a study that like 85% of people over 65 are on some kind of social media, and like 90% of those people they're on Facebook. So that's something that I know I need to get better with, and I'm talking to Dave Mullane about that. Special landing pages. We created the veterans website for Dave Lehman. For my dinners, we create special landing pages for that. Referral engines, so partnerships with local like clientele professionals. I just joined a BNI. If you're not familiar with BNI, it's kind of like a Rotary, but I think it's better. You're the only professional within that group. So who am I getting a text from? Oh, Jason Bell missed the link. Let me see if I can send him that link. Let's do it that way. There we go. But BNIs, I just joined one, and they have all professionals. They do different jobs. I think they can have up to like 72 members, but I'm the only health insurance person, um, and it's kind of nice because they focus on um, saying, hey, you know what? I work with seniors. I work in the senior market, or hey, I'm a PNC agency. Let's bounce people off of each other. So, finding those people, those financial planners, the retirement specialists, um, that's a big deal. Asking current clients for referrals. This one was I was horrible at this, like the first 2 years. Don't be afraid to ask for it at the close of the appointment. Especially, I mean, if it's a bad appointment, which you're probably not going to have too many of those, maybe you don't ask. But if it's a good appointment, which most of them will be, you say, hey, you know what? Do you know anybody that needs help? I'd really love to help them. Um, do you host events at your church? Or hey, do you know your HR director from where you retired from? Can I help them? Um, it's asking, but it's kind of asking in a classy way. And then just be that local authority. People know that when you get involved in stuff. We've done the Honey Fest. We've done, gosh, we're in the Groveport Senior Center. Um, they have a health fair every year, and people know, oh yeah, you're the guy from there. Or they see the barn logo. Oh, you're the barn logo guy. Yeah, okay. So reviews and reputation management, another area I need to get better on. The Google reviews, it's silly. I feel like asking, hey, can you give me a Google review? But it works. Those 5-star Google reviews get seen. I have actually had in the last couple years, I've had one or two clients say, "Oh yeah, I Googled Medicare in Canal Winchester, and you came up, and I saw a 5-star review." And it's well, I guess it goes somewhere. So, um, knowing that and I guess asking for those reviews, that's not beyond the scope of what is proper. There we go. All right. So moving on. Also sales process optimization. So your scripts, knowing exactly how things should be working at all times, having those client management systems in place, and tracking leads. This is something we've gotten better on. Myself, I've gotten better on is what's happening with each of these leads. When I do dinners, I document all who's there. I document exactly how much I spend, and my if I get the consent to contact cards, I've got notes. I've got spreadsheets on exactly how that's gone. So that's a good way to see, day to day, it's not going to show you a whole lot, but long term, you say, hey, you know what? I spent money on this and my ROI was terrible. So understanding where your money is going, where your time is going, and optimize it. All right. And then something to think about is if you do want to have potential downline agents, people who are working for you, basically, who are getting you those overrides, um, how do you want to be represented? All right. Um, I like, I really like our team because I feel like the way that you all conduct business is exactly the way I would want. One of the things I kind of look at is what I want them selling to my parents. So, um, that's something I think about. Everyone has their own thing. If that's what you want to do, go for it. All right. After that, again, if you are thinking about getting people, there's kind of three different, what I want to say, types of hirees that you can get. Your producers, those are your agents. All right, all of you all are producers. Um, and they're just getting sales. You can have service specialists and retention specialists. Those are your license only agents who they work for you. You actually pay them a salary. They're W-2'd instead of 1099. They can work your book of business, but anything that they write new business, it is your book. They don't own their book, whereas you all as producers, you own your book. I'll never um, as a manager, I don't even look at your guys' book. I can't see your book. So, but those service specialists, retention specialists, those LOAs, you can get them to handle those service related issues. Because your job, if you want to become a manager, your job is to make money for the agency, and doing the things like the prescription drug plan reviews. Those aren't making us money anymore. And calling into carriers, yes, it's nice, and it's something that starting out, you should definitely do. But once you say, hey, you know what, I'm really gonna focus on becoming a manager, think about hiring an LOA and paying them so that you can go out and make more sales. And then finally, administration. The just handle the paperwork and the calls and things like that. All right. Um, then with the technology, on the technology side, this is new, I think, in more new in the Medicare world. Wasn't as popular when I first started, even just 8 years ago. But the automated types of things, AI has been huge on that. My brother does this for his personal training business. He has an automated text, AI automated caller, and it actually sounds really good. I was kind of a guinea pig for him, and you can get these for Medicare. I don't know the cost exactly. Um, Dave Mullane has been testing some of them out, and I know TLC has been looking at them, and I don't know exactly where they're at and what companies they're using, but it exists, and this might be something that, hey, I can't afford to hire someone to call for me, but I can afford a subscription to this AI thing monthly. It's going to be less for sure than paying an actual person. That might be worth it. Um, Something that we're working on right now, Dave Yost and I are each doing, is we're doing a new library system of marketing, and we're just going to be piloting this AI text system. So when people RSVP for our events, um, we plug it into this AI system, and this AI system will send out reminder texts. So I'm going to shoot for about 6 to 8 months of that and see what happens. And then if it's good, I'm definitely going to put it out to you guys, because heck, I want as much as I want to succeed, I want to see you guys succeed too. So, e-signature, digital applications, beyond your first appointment, that second, the third, and beyond, you can simplify it. Use Smart Enroll to email those SOAs. Use them to email the applications for the e-signatures and the follow-ups. All right, those follow-up You can do the follow-up emails, just saying, "Hey, is there anything you got?" Have a form. I know that I've created one at one point. I'd have to look back and find it, but just a general form email saying, "Here's what you should have. Here's what you should have received from your carrier. If you don't have any of these, one, two, three, four, or five, call me." And it's another point of touch, but it's really not anything that you're spending a ton of time on. Um, you copy and paste the email, send it out. 9 times out of 10, they'll just email back and say, "I got everything." Or, if they need you for something there, it's going to be very simple. But now they remember, oh yeah, that guy's pretty good. I mean, he got me a good policy, and he followed up to say, "Do you have everything?" Putting those in place is a big deal. And if you're, and in that same vein, if you are growing but you are mismanaging that growth, it can hurt you. It can set you back. All right. So, as I did talk about earlier, something that we've done a lot better with here is that ROI for events, for mailers. I know exactly how much I'm spending per person when I do a dinner, and what I need to make in order to make it worth it for me. Um, Tracking commissions, this is an area I struggle with. This is something that I find extremely boring. That's why you have LOAs. That's why you have, in my opinion, these administrative types of people to handle that. I know that a couple months ago, um, someone at TLC, it might have been Mullane, actually did a tracking commission webinar. So that's something that I didn't get to watch that, but that is something that even myself I could benefit from. Um, Plan for hiring costs before that revenue catches up. All right. Right now, I need to hire an LOA, and it's to the point where it's like almost ridiculous that I should have had them hired, a month ago. But plan on those costs long term. I can afford to hire that LOA, but you can't put yourself into a place like, oh no, I need to hire someone, or I need to pay for this client management software, but I don't know how I'm going to do it. You got to plan for it, and if that means taking out a small business loan, um, opening up a company credit card, something like that, you can do that. Incorporate, get an LLC. It's very easy to do. Make yourself an S corp. We started as an LLC, and I started all of my banking with the LLC. And just in the past year, we've become an S corp, which is better for taxes. It's better for tax purposes, but all of my expenditures come under that business. So it's nice. It helps for tax purposes for sure. Um, but planning ahead for that. Otherwise, you're going to get hit and not know what to do with it. Um, Using an established tax professional, and this is the big thing. If you want to do an LLC, yes, I think a tax person can help, definitely. If you're going to be an S corp, definitely hire someone to do your taxes. If you're going to have payroll, definitely hire someone to do your taxes. Um, that is a good person, a good tax professional. They're going to cost. My tax guy costs about $1,800 a year, but this past year, last year, when I um, filed as an S corp, he saved me $20,000, over $20,000 that I would have just lost out on because I'm not the professional. So um, these are the types of things that if you're thinking, I want to get larger, I want to, whether that's just making more sales and making more money, or I want to have a downline. These people kind of got to be in place. All right. Not to say you're paying them before you need them, but just have them there ready to go. If you need recommendations on some of these things, we got them. All right, we can talk individually, and I can definitely help with that. Something that Craig and Chris always say is they want to see us succeed as bad as they wanted to see them succeed. And um, I totally understand that. And that is definitely where I'm at. You know, if you guys succeed, that's awesome. That's fun to see for sure. Um, Next thing is compliance. All right. And this one's a little, um, this is something that obviously you don't want to ignore compliance, but having TLC, this is going to be way different for us than probably most agents. I talk to other agents at events and they're like, "Oh yeah, I got to figure out what's compliant. I got to do this and I could do that for compliance." And I hired someone to check my compliance. I don't understand that because we've always had someone excellent at TLC. Right now it's Christina. Um, Before Christina, actually, the compliance officer who was before Christina is still there. She doesn't do compliance anymore, but Christina's fantastic. If you say, "Hey, I want to create something," and send it out as a mailer, email it to Christina. She'll get back to you within a day. Individual licensing, non-residential states. I don't know if any of you have done this, but Sircon, Sircon. Sircon is where I go for all of my licensing. So I'm going to go there right now. And if I can remember my password, let's see, we want to, let's do print. I think that'll get me there. There we go. Right there. And let's see, what is that? It is, let's see if that's it. Look at that. First time. All right. So what's great about Sircon is you sign up for an account, it's free. Um, and they know you by your NPN. So my NPN is in here. This is everything about me with regards to my licenses. So if I want to look at all my licenses, it has everything there. Okay. If I want to see what's coming up for renewal, you can find it there. If it'll show you how many CEUs are currently listed for you. So I know I have something coming up this year. What is it? Oh, Maryland is coming up for me. Pennsylvania is coming up for me. Tennessee, Texas. So I got to renew those this year. So I'll just go get my CEUs. I don't have any CEUs done this year. So if I go back here, you can print licenses. You can, where is it? Apply. That's the big one. So applying for a license, it's real simple. New insurance license. You're a non-resident. You already have your resident. You're an individual. You list your resident state. And there you go. You can click on the ones you want. Most of them are about 50 bucks. I think New York might be 100 and something. Give or take, 50 bucks is about fair for that. So um, get whatever you want. Whatever you do get, I say, make sure you tell me so that I can get that license too. All right. So any states that you have, I also have to have. So um, that's not a problem. I'll just take care of it, but it is very easy. And then what is nice about all of this, the compliance, TLC will get this information. They'll see that you are applying for it. Then once you have it, send in your new state license. Most of it takes 24 to 48 hours. Um, but send that into compliance and into TLC, and they will help with that. They will make sure everything's good that way. Um, Knowing states' laws. There's some weird ones in California. There's some weird ones in Florida. There's some weird ones in New York. but really there's not too many state laws that are crazy. If you're looking that way, talk to TLC, talk to Christina, talk to Natalie. They will know, I guarantee it. Will it make sense for you to hire a compliance professional? Probably not. Unless you get to the FMO size, probably not. I don't have a plan to hire any. Okay. Some of the things that a lot of people will overlook when they're thinking about getting larger, whether it's, again, just selling more policies, or if it's hiring people, adding new agents, recruiting agents. What's the best way to add that new location? Do you want to do it remotely? Do you want to do brick and mortar? Again, I have whatever the 15 or 16 other licenses. I don't have any other brick and mortar places. Everything is just word of mouth. Clients moving there. I will say all of those places, well, I shouldn't say all of them, most all of those places, other states, I've gotten because clients have moved there. And there's been a few of them, my Maryland one and Texas person, they actually referred me to someone that they know there. So just as long as they know, yes, this is remote, I'm helping you from Ohio, but I'm licensed. Um, Scaling up the operations can make good sense as opposed to full in-person brick and mortar locations, depending on availability. All right, so that's exactly what I just said there. So um, I don't see a need to get any other location right now outside of tiny little Lithopolis, Ohio. Um, it could be. I know my brother. For those of you who know my brother, he and I have talked about potentially putting an office in Dublin, closer to where he's at. Um, that's probably a little ways down the road, but in my opinion, that's probably where I would go next, because the way that Powell and Delaware and Dublin and that Marysville area, those are all growing. I think putting something up that way might be smart. But again, the operations that would have to go into that, I'm not ready for right now. Um, there's a lot that would be in the buildup. And then what's going to be the business model? All right, every place is going to be different. We have an agent out in Arizona currently. Gosh, Dave Rinkus, and it's very different out there. It's a completely different world. Advantage plans are fantastic out there, but the networks are so spread out that the way he markets and the way that we market is very different. So some of the tips or tricks that we've given him, they may or may not work. It's just very different, and that's something that as you scale, you need to know. How do you know? You talk to someone. Talk to TLC. All right. And then some more common pitfalls. Growing too quickly. Believe it or not, that can be an issue if you don't have those systems in place. All right. If you don't have the client management stuff, if you don't have an LOA, if you don't have administrative staff or know how to handle more marketing or more that's coming in during AEP, you I don't think you would fail. I don't think any of you would do that, but I believe that it can make it very hard to grow. All right, you won't shrink, you just won't grow. Um, and also know that as you get larger, again, whether you are hiring more agents or recruiting agents, or if you're just going to say, hey, I want an LOA so I can go make more sales for myself, your role is going to change. You start off as a producer, um, and then you move into the operator role and then the leader role. So, the producer, you're going out and making the sales. Operator, you're running the day to day with, excuse me, with the agency. If that means you have an LOA or a administrative type of role here, you have to tell them what to do. Or if you have agents, you're a leader. You're saying, this is some ideas for marketing. These are some things that you can do for recruiting. I know Phil is wanting to recruit, and the Landises are wanting to recruit. And if any of you want to recruit, we've got some new resources from TLC that we've never had before. Actually, they just kind of came online not too long ago, and we can really help do that. The what I tell people is, if you're wanting to grow your agency and have a downline so that you can get those overrides, recruit recruiters. Recruit people who, yes, they'll be good producers. They will sell policies. They'll handle things like you would expect them to handle, but also have them recruit for you. That's something that um, that's a smart way to do things. Again, like I said earlier, your job, your focus on your job is going to be very different. You're not the day to day licking stamps and mailing stuff out. Your job is to make money. Your job is to go get the sales. Your job is to recruit. Um, and then, well, like I just said, building managers, building recruiters, not just producers. Yes, it's great to have people who will sell a ton. That is fun to watch. And like I said, we grew 25%. 2 years ago, this last year, we grew 30%. Um, and so it's fun to see all that you guys are doing. But I see that there's a bunch of you all who are um, becoming and see themselves in a little different light, and that's great. I'd love to show you more of what I do, and get you to go recruit your own team if that's what you really want to do. So then you can go out and empower those people to build a team for themselves, and you become bigger. The something that Craig and Chris from TLC always say is, they like giving people the lifestyle that they want. They like seeing people achieve the lifestyle that they want. And that's for me. It started very simply. I had three goals when I got into insurance. It was to make more than teaching, which really wasn't too hard at 11 years in teaching. To have more time and kind of do my own thing, and to have my wife at home, be a stay-at-home mom. And we've achieved all of those things. And since then, my goals have changed. And that was the lifestyle that we wanted. Um, and thankfully, we've been able to do that. And I know that in recruiting some of you, it's I see a lot of this of similar things there. Um, so again, a little bit more about how I got into it, what it looked like for me. My goals were everything on the first slide. I wanted to make more money. I wanted more time. I wanted to build something that was my own. We started recruiting it was probably late 2020. We started talking to people. 2021, 2022, 22 officially, I became a manager. Uh, I recruited. I've been told no a lot. You go to PNC places. You go to people you know. I went to some of my college friends, former teammates from college. Oh gosh, anybody I could talk to, I would tell them, hey, you ought to try this. I know you're looking for a new career, something like that, or you're a teacher and you're looking for some extra money. And there were a lot of no's. I mean, oh my gosh, I could not even begin to tell you how many people have said no. Even to this day, will still say no, and that's okay. Um, you don't stop. And then I began recruiting on a larger scale. So we've gone out to PNC agencies. Actually, let's see. I just met with. There's an agency down in the Chillicothe, Kingston area that we just got on board. She's finishing up her AHIP, and then she'll be ready to go. But they're a PNC agency. They have 2,500 clients, and they said we really need to do Medicare because we're leaving money on the table. So 2,500, I said, hey, you know what? You probably have 30% of your book that's Medicare eligible. And I tell all of them the same thing. It's not like I'm just telling this agency that, but you tell them this and you say 25 to 30% of your book is Medicare eligible. You're leaving money. Someone else is going to go out and make that money on your client, and then you're going to lose them. Medicare will help you help protect your book of business. They audited their book. They had 29% of people on Medicare. So if you want help recruiting, I will go with you um, on those visits. Yost went with me. Dave Mullane went with me. Um, that's totally fine until you get comfortable doing it. Other licensed agents, that's something new that TLC has access to. We can get, if you say, I want to recruit anybody who has a health and life license in I don't know, in Coshocton County. Great. We know exactly who it is. We know their address, their phone number, everything, and we can get that for you. Let me know. I will do that. Um, and then only recently have begun having other agents recruit. Like I said, recruiting recruiters and talking to those agents that you do recruit if you're recruiting and say, hey, you know what? Wouldn't it be great if you could give the lifestyle that you're getting and um, and have that buy-in with those people. And it is a slow, measured growth. Um, in 22, I had 5 agents, including myself. Right now, we have about 26 or 27, and we've got another, I think we have about 8 to 10 in contracting right now. So it's slow, it's measured, but that's what makes it sustainable. You can't do it overnight. I think if it was an overnight thing, it would be probably too good to be true. So don't get discouraged with it. It's, again, you're going to get told no a lot, and it's totally fine. You just go out and go get the next one then. All right. Questions. Questions.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Oh, all right, all right. The lawyer speaking, yeah, huh? All right.
Are we set up and ready to go for fair this year?
Yes, I need to submit the last thing for that, but yes, I just bought a new sign for that.
Picked. Okay.
Yeah.
We were kind of talking about maybe getting a table and chairs to put in there. Kind of a, I don't know, like you're sitting at the kitchen table kind of thing.
Yep.
So,
Yep. Yep. We can. We definitely should look at a small table, maybe just a little like a coffee table or something like that to put in there.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, something we can sit around or something. We thought that
Yep.
might be easier for clients.
Yep.
So,
Definitely.
and those of us who are shorter than you are.
Right. There is that.
Yes. All right, good to know.
Anything else? All right. I'm going to stop the recording.